2, 3, 4.
Relax your mind.
They have the authority to kill a minority.
Right on the side and be best to kill.
I'm sweeter and thicker than a Chico stick.
And damn, at the stage making that sound. The turntables might wobble, but they don't fall down.
Aiming at your head like a buffalo.
Make the gas for those little white lies.
Lemonade was a popular drink and it's still
I was a fiend. Before I became a teen, I melted microphones instead of cones of ice cream.
One, two, three.
And now, everybody, MC Serch. MC Serch. MC Serch. MC Serch. MC Serch.
Search will never stand still.
I am proud of me. Look at what I'm doing and what I'm used to. I'm feeling good about myself because I overcame all of this shite. It's great. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Welcome to today's book reading of The Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness. Yo, what up? It's Serch. Welcome to another edition of the Serch Says podcast, brought to you by Bruetta Tea. We got a new flavor for the season. So happy, so excited about this. Bruetta has decided to do a very aromatic tea, African Sorrel. You can get it at bruetta.com. It's a special holiday flavor. This is the only tea that also is a loose leaf tea with its own patented tumbler. So you get the tumbler, you get the tea, you pour it in, you let it steep, you drink, you have an amazing experience. Blessings, Bruetta Tea, for being involved in our show. I felt that was justified.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Pumice, how are you, sir? Happy.
I'm good. How are you?
I want to thank you for your commitment to my career, the commitment to what you've done for me as a human being. I love you, brother, and
I love you too. That's really nice of you.
Pandemic and all of the madness. I've lost 92 people close to me this year. I just felt like it was appropriate to tell you that you are a blessing in my life, and thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And the newest member of the team, who is now going to be a part of this, are Gary Delabate, if you will. Nate Bell. Nate Bell is a 30-year veteran of radio. He has been the senior vice president of programming for iHeart and Radio 1. He's been at WJLB, MIB. He was at Power in New York. He has been in every market you can imagine, and now has the toughest job in media, which is trying to control this white devil. So, Nate, thank you, and I give thanks to you because you are also someone who's been in my corner forever, and I love you, brother, and so glad you've taken on this humongous challenge of dealing with me as the maniac that I am. Also, Thanksgiving feels a little special this year because we're giving thanks to the 80 million people now. The 80 million people that voted. You see, this is the whole thing. I don't count it as voted for Biden. I see it as 80 million people that voted to get Trump the fuck out of office. Can we agree to that?
I think that's pretty true, and that's definitely true because there are a lot of Republicans who definitely they didn't want to have to
talk about a dude who's listening long distance. Kenai, Alaska. I don't know if I've been to Kenai. Shout out to Robert Martin. Thank you, brother. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here from Kenai, Alaska. That's a beautiful place. I've been to Alaska once. Had a great radio station, KFAT in Anchorage, hip hop station. So thank you. Yes, Jason Conti. It is EMCEE Search. Thank you. Hey, Jason, how are you?
He thinks you could be brothers. He thinks he looks like you.
I see that. I see
You
that.
can't see his face on the screen.
No,
anyway,
I know,
so
but it's okay. But he can say it.
we're both clicking the same thing
Also,
over and over.
yeah. Do you want? I will let you do it because this guy knows what's going on. Gucci.
We can't say that name, but yeah.
Yeah, he's
Mike-
ready. Mike Jajenic.
Jajenic?
Gucci. He knows we're going to be talking about it. Jeremy Hunt, happy holiday, Serch and crew. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you and your family. So I think 80 million people did vote Trump out, even though Trump will refuse to admit defeat, right?
He finally is handing over power, right?
Well, the thing that was really funny this week, which I'd like to give him the gas face for, get the gas face, Donald Trump, is that he said he never got an appropriate transition of power from Obama.
Right.
They showed it. They showed it. They were like, what planet do you live on, and what lies do you feed these blonde-haired, blue-eyed devils that sit around you, that you want them to believe all of this Bangladesh business?
He really is surrounded by a lot of blonde-haired, blue-eyed people, isn't he?
Yeah,
that's true.
He turns these blonde-haired, blue-eyed people into blonde-haired, blue-eyed devils. And I want to just be very clear. It's not a disparaging remark against white people, because there are some great white people. Soren Baker is a great white man. Pumice Mandola, another great white man.
You're buttering us up.
Like a turkey, like a butterball turkey. But I believe that these men and women go into the Trump organization with the best intentions. I really do. And I think he turns them into white devils.
Probably.
I actually had a really funny conversation with a guy I know named...
Should we be calling out his name?
No, I don't want to say that. But
okay.
I do want to. I want to just give a big shout out to a woman who has busted her ass for the city of Detroit, Karen Dumas. I love you, sis. Bought 3 copies. I didn't even know about that. Ooh, special. I feel special, Karen Dumas. But this is a woman that has really worked tirelessly for her city, the great city of Detroit. So thank you, Karen, and happy Thanksgiving to your beautiful family. So the whole thing is, again, I think the Trump organization turns people into blue-eyed devils by forcing them to lie, forcing them to be to compromise their position, and to create an environment where you have no choice but to protect the person that is your boss, right? So I learned a very valuable lesson last week when I put people that I know in compromising positions where they had to do the same thing for me. And my dear friend DJ Eclipse pointed it out to me, that I created by telling, or exaggerating, or just telling things that weren't true about people that were close to me. And then those people were forced to not say anything because they didn't want to embarrass me. And then I made amends with those people, and I apologized, and I called them and I said, you know what? I should have never put you in that predicament. I exaggerated. I lied. I just did things that I should not have done. And they were kind enough to not compromise me, but they also didn't go out there and say, yo, what Serch is talking about, he's bugging. I don't even know what he's talking about. Like, I have no idea what Serch is talking about. Why did he even put my name in this? So I think that this outgoing president puts his people in compromising positions because I think, very much like me, he probably speaks before he thinks. And I have that disease. I speak before I think. And then when I do that, I put people that I love and people that work with me in compromising positions. Hence, making sure that I give myself the ability moving forward to cover the bases of the people around me, to make sure that I speak the truth, and to make sure that I don't get caught up in the hype of my own exaggerations and my own Bangladesh business, for all those yardies out there who understand what Bangladesh is. Anyway, yo, back to Dennis Fine. I just wanted to say yo to just break up my very sentimental breakdown. Anyway, thank you to that voiceover. We're going to be talking to the great, the talented. Let's see if we can get a close up on his name, Soren Baker, who wrote this great book about this amazing artist. Who, by the way, 9 million people watched the verses between him and Jeezy. 9 million, which is more than the American Music Awards, more than the Grammys, more than the People's Choice Award. I think the only thing that was more than that was the Academy Awards. It's more than the Golden Globes. A testament to what hip hop is. And it's funny, I had an interesting conversation online with the person who's in charge of social content at Amazon today. And he was talking about why can't we find broadcast platforms that can do this? And I got to be honest with you, why you would want to make verses smaller by putting it on a broadcast platform is ridiculous to me, because YouTube, Amazon, Apple are bigger than any broadcast platform we have in the universe right now. So why you would want to granulate it because we're older people and we still think ABC and NBC and Fox and CBS is cool is dumb. It's dumb. It's amazing that Apple, that Amazon, that even the Hulus and the Netflix. I mean, by the way, Pumice, because you're white, did you see The Queen's Gambit yet on Netflix?
No, but I did just talk to somebody about it today.
Dude, so I just want to tell you that your boy Serch and his wife Chantel is up on things before anybody else. We watched the Queen's Gambit before they announced that 62 million people watched it in 28 days. It was amazing. The writing, the performances, the storyline. It was amazing. Amazing. But these kind of platforms that get you to 62 million. I mean, the last time, and this is going to be crazy, but I'm going to say this. The last time television, broadcast TV got to 62 million anythings was like the final episode of MASH.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like that,
like
or
Seinfeld, like Milton Berle used to get, because that was the only thing.
Landing on the moon.
You know, like you had Milton Berle and then Static. It was Uncle Milty or this. So of course you had 62 million people watching Milton Berle. Yeah, that was it.
Actually, what they didn't have, it was the Indian head.
No, it was not even the Indian head. It was just
static.
It was static. It was snow.
Do you remember they used to play the national? They used to play the national
anthem at 2 o'clock in the morning because there was no other broadcast. There was nothing else to broadcast.
They needed a way to make sense of like, how do we close this out for the day?
Yeah, and then have
right. Yeah, I used to watch Static. My mother would be like, "What are you watching?"
How annoying I just was to people on the podcast who are listening and hearing me go.
Well, then keep doing it.
That's really a good idea. Yeah. Shout out from Van City. I love Van City. I don't even know where that is. It sounds sexy.
Much
love and respect to the legend. I guess that's me, MC Serch. I'm the legend. Ooh, the legend. The only legend I know is made by Acura. That's a good line. I need to keep that.
Should I write that down?
But don't let Soren Baker hear that line. He'll steal it. Larry Banks said there was only 3 networks at the time. That is a fact. Yeah. ABC, CBS, and ABC. So that's exactly right. And that's why you could get to 62 million. So congratulations to Netflix and the Queen's Gambit and Hip Hop Evolution and the set, let me just tell you something. The other show that I saw on Netflix, Sacha Baron Cohen, The Spy. Man, listen. That is Gangster. That movie is Gangstar, no Dwick. Yep.
I'm just really like,
let's run
you're jumping the gun on the whole segment of telling us.
No, you might as well listen. Go hard body right now. Let me just do it. Just do it. Go. Yep. Yep. Let's tell him. I did. Nothing. All about. I put you on. Who put you on? I put you on. Who put you on? This boy will put you on. If you don't know, I'll put you on. This boy will put you on. Netflix, The Spy. Sacha Baron Cohen should get the Golden Globe or the SAG Award. His performance as Elias Cohen, the spy who infiltrated Syria and became the assistant director of defense as a Jew. They hung him and showed his body for half a day. And I'm ruining the whole movie. Damn.
Don't have to watch it now.
No, you don't have to watch nothing now. Just know you have to watch it, but you ain't got to watch it. But you got to watch it.
I saw a Redbox recently.
Yeah.
And I wondered, like, who gets Redbox? How do you watch Redbox? Is it a disc?
Yeah, it's a disc. I watch Redbox all the time, bro.
You have a DVD player?
Of course.
Oh.
2 of them.
Okay.
I have a DVD. I have like a true DVD
Blu-ray
player. No, and I have a PS. I have a PlayStation.
Okay, so you've got a
which,
game
by the way,
system.
PlayStation is the best DVD that you can buy. It's the best DVD player you can buy, period. Somebody also said something very sweet that I want to go back to. Somebody said they know their history. We might have to give them the call number and play trivia with them. But somebody said that somebody said something. I'm going back to it. Hold on.
You think about the White Rapper show gave him goosebumps?
Yeah, no, never mind. That's not what it was. All right, let's move on. Anyway, our guest tonight, and he's already trying to get off the show because he wants to spend time with his family for the Hanukkah Thanksgiving celebration.
Hanukkah.
Kwanzaa Christmas.
Thanksgiving.
Listen, if you ain't reading this book, if you're not reading this book, you're missing out. And I'll tell you why. And no hype or nonsense. Because I've been talking about this on social, and I've been talking about this even before he came on. If you think Gucci Mane is one of these trap rappers that you can't connect with, you are so mistaken, because his success is so simplistic in how he carries himself and how he respects the people around him and the messages in this book. I mean, not only is this one of my favorite pictures, but this section of this chapter is embrace every challenge. I'm proud of me. Look what I'm doing and what I'm used to. I'm feeling good about myself because I overcame all of this shit. There was always people doubting me. Now you're either with me or you're against me. I got to where I am because of my challenges to my success as an artist, my health, my relationships. Every obstacle that I encountered, I embraced. Every setback, and I've had my share, was an opportunity to embrace failure, learn, and turn it into a challenge. I'm sorry, but when I first got this book and I ordered it, I was one of these meatballs that pre-ordered it because I like to have things before anybody else, and I like to read it. I was so blown away by this book when I read it that I reached out to the author, who I also am privileged to know and been a fan of his work for years, just to tell him thank you, and just to say what you put out in the world and what you help put out in the world is another shining example of our culture being able to be transcribed beyond music. The author of this book, Soren Baker, is with us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Soren Baker, what's up, brother?
Thank you, Serch, for the amazing introduction and for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's the obvious truth, because this book is so simplistic in nature and so simplistic in its message. And it breaks down what I like to think is complicated speed bumps for people in a very simplistic way. What was it like working with Gucci on this book? And talk to me about the process of getting this book made.
Man, working with Gucci Mane on the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness was amazing on so many levels. First of all, we have a lot in common, which I think most people would probably find surprising, I guess. But a lot of his philosophies and how he thinks are similar to mine. So once we got going, it was really us having all these series of conversations to write the book. And that was really amazing because he's incredibly insightful. And I've been listening to Gucci since around 2005. And since he has more than 100 projects, I don't know every word and I don't know every song, of course, because he's got more than 1,000. But the point is, I've been listening to him and studying him and watching him. I was supposed to work with him about 15 years ago or 10 years ago. So when this actually happened, I was pretty excited because he's a guy that I think has really often been discounted. But when you really look at the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness and you look at the autobiography of Gucci Mane, the book before this one that he did, you really see why he's successful. And talking to Gucci Mane to do this book and learning the things that he did and that he used to apply to his life to turn his life around and to become the person that he is today, it's remarkable and it's astounding. And that to me is what makes the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness amazing. And talking with him, you know, we used a lot of his social media posts from either Twitter or Instagram, and then we built the chapters or the entries around those posts. It's not for all of them, but a lot of them. So it was amazing.
I want to go back to something you said that I'm still having a hard time getting past. You said that you and Gucci have a lot in common.
Yes.
I know you.
Yes.
And I know Gucci.
Yes.
So I'm just going to ask the obvious question, which is, how does a white boy like you have in common with a trap, grimy kid from the ATL? Like where, and again, I'm being funny, but in all seriousness, I really want to understand, because I'm intrigued. What did you guys have that were so in common that made the writing of this book happen?
Well, I think it's because once we started talking and started working on it, our philosophies and how we live our life is very similar. We have a lot of things that we love about rap. Like we both love Project Pat's Mr. Don't Play album, for instance. That's
one of my favorite things about you is that you have been a champion of that Project Pat. I think you've actually said it's one of the top 10 albums of all time.
It's one of the best albums ever made.
Yeah, ever made. Sure. Right. Yeah,
ever made.
Which I love about you.
It's phenomenal.
Which I love about you. Yeah, it's I don't know if I can co-sign, but I appreciate your effort.
Thank you. But but the thing with Gucci is he, especially when he changed his life when he was incarcerated the last time, which started this metamorphosis, is that he's always trying to get better. So throughout the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness, we talked about a lot of those beliefs, those mantras, the truisms, the daily stuff that he applies to his life. And I do a lot of the same things. Obviously, I have a very different background than he does, but I always am trying to think of how can I be better. And a lot of the things that he said, I may have thought about it in different terminology or different phraseology or what have you, but we do try to do the same things. We do realize nobody cares, work harder, which is one of my favorite chapters in the book. And we had both, ironically, seen it because Lamar Jackson from the Baltimore Ravens had said it. And when I saw Lamar say that, I was like, oh, that's amazing. And then I think either that day or the next day, I saw Gucci had pinned it and tweeted it and all this stuff. And I was like, man, we're both looking at what Lamar Jackson is saying and drawing inspiration from that, which is why it ended up in the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness. Because, you know, I'm somebody that's been fortunate that my parents told me to appreciate and look at and learn from any and everyone. So I've tried to apply that throughout my entire life, which I do today. So I try to look at everybody the same and try to learn from whoever I can, because, you know, I'm not the smartest guy anywhere I go. So I'm always trying to like learn and study and, apply things that I can make myself, what I do, my writing, whatever it is, make myself better. And that's something that clearly Gucci Mane does. And that was like just so refreshing to hear. And once we started talking and working on the book and like when I would say, oh man, when you tweeted this or you said this on Instagram, he was like, oh yeah, we got to get in on that one. And then he just started getting excited. And that was something like me, as you know, from talking to me a few times over the years, when we would talk about rap outside of an interview or whatever, like I'm a pretty calm guy, but when I get going about rap, then I really like get going. And like Gucci was like that when we started talking about the chapters and entries in the Gucci Man Guide to Greatness. He was so passionate about it that he really wanted to like spread and share this because it's important. And he felt like this turned my life around. I want to help turn other people's lives around because he had a lot of the hangups that are the result of him saying what to do. He was doing the wrong thing in his life, which he addresses in this book, The Gucci Man Guide to Greatness. And then he changed and flipped it so that now he's living a better life and he has the life that he wanted in basically everywhere.
I love, we talked about nobody cares, work harder. And I just want to read this to the people that are on the podcast. I got these words of wisdom from Lamar Odom, which, by the way, words of wisdom.
Jackson.
Plug. Yeah, no, just words of wisdom.
No, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I know. But I screwed up because I got stuck on words of wisdom. Third base, cactus. It's all good.
Yes.
I got these words of wisdom from Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens. I find myself saying it in my head all the time. I always go back to it, but it can't really give you any solace because you've got to work hard. That's what it is. It doesn't matter if you're sore, if you're tired, if you're behind on the bills. Nobody cares. You got to keep going. Even if you do well, do good, do the right thing, you might not get a reward. Sometimes you'll be like, damn, I did everything I was supposed to. And I pushed myself. Damn, I'm tired. Damn, I'm barely getting by. It's not always an enjoyable experience, but there's no need to complain about it. Stop trying to find sympathy. It's a hard life. Nobody cares. It's just, these are the things. And I said to you, like, these are some of the mantras that I wake up with every day when I read this book. And I'll go again, I'll find my favorite, which is, it's literally stuck. Avoid lazy and miserable people.
That's a key to life right there, Serch. That is
well,
a key
I mean,
to life.
how many? I mean, look, let's just call it what it is. We're in the music business. We're in entertainment. How many ear hustlers do you come across that have a great idea?
So everyone, every ear hustler does, or they have 1,000 great ideas.
And one of the reasons, and I'm just going to put it out there, when my wife and I were finding a place to live, we were about to sell Nouveau, and we were going to try to find a place to live. We checked out Atlanta. New music industry, the new Motown, everybody was down there. Everybody was moving from LA, New York. This is 2009, 2010. And I had the hottest liquor brand in the world at the time. T-Pain had mentioned it and blame it on the alcohol. We had to deal with T.I. We had to deal with Lil Wayne. We had to deal with Luda. Luda mentioned it on, Saturday Night Live. Like, we were that it brand for that moment. I could not go 10 feet without an ear hustler telling me that he had the most amazing, he was going to make me $1 million. He was going to get me this. He was going to get me that. He was going to bring me this. He was going to bring me that. Oh, you moving down here? Where you moving? I got a homegirl that sells real estate. I got this. I got that. And I could not bring myself to thinking, oh my goodness, if I live here, this is my life. Or I'm going to then fall into the trap where I might want to do business with somebody, and then I'm the ear hustler who's bothering everyone that I see at the Palm or that I see at the mall. And I'm like, oh, this is an opportunity to talk to blank. And I mean, I just love this. That's one of the key things you can tell yourself every day: avoid lazy and miserable people. I love that. When you start living by this principle, you're looking in the mirror and telling yourself, hey, man, I expect a lot out of you. You're demanding the best out of yourself. You are your best asset. And when you get rid of people around you who might disrupt that, you stop being naive. You become more aware. A lazy and miserable mindset leads to a lazy and miserable life. So avoid lazy and miserable people. So I guess the other point I want to ask you is, obviously this book is in the first person. I mean, he's obviously telling you his stories. What was the challenge in editing this book? Because I mean, I got to assume that this book could have been, but this book could have been, War and Peace. This book could have been the Odyssey. This book could have been 1,000 pages. So
Absolutely.
What was the challenge in editing this book down to his, primal thoughts?
Well, the one thing, as you know, from being an artist is you have deadlines. So we did this all during the pandemic, actually. So we didn't have super amount of time, and we had a general, we had a word count that we were aiming for, and we came in slightly under that, but that was more of a reflection or a result of time, as opposed to, I mean, he's got so many jewels that are just dripping from him. But as far as executing it, it was really the fact of, he would tell me all these things, we would talk, and then I have to, make it a story per se. So, when anyone talks, they don't normally talk A, B, C, D, E. They might say A and then go to F. And so I have to make it into a story and make it flow, which admittedly there was some of that, but he's very focused and very well spoken and very direct. But in order to make it into the categories and the sections and the chapters, that's more of what was incumbent upon me as the writer and as the interviewer and as the collaborator to really bring these great stories out of him. Or, if we talked about Nobody Cares Work Harder, and I'm like, we talked about it, but then I was like, you know what? You said this last time we talked on Tuesday, so what about we add this? And he's like, oh yeah, okay, I could tell you and then he would go on and tell me another story, and then I would have to blend and edit them in to make it, flow and to make it make sense and coherent, so that it didn't seem like a disjointed conversation when it may have been two different conversations. So, I mean, that from writing rhymes, a song might sound amazing, but you didn't always write it 100% that way the first time. It's a process, and that's where, thankfully, at Simon & Schuster with Stuart Roberts, we had an amazing editor that I worked with there that helped me in that process also. But I mean, working with Gucci is great because he's very focused, he's very direct, and as people saw from the verses, like, he knows what he wants to say, he knows what he wants to do, and then he does it. So for me, it was more of, helping him do it, but it was more of, it's his vision. I would ask him certain things, and a few of them I asked him about that became part of it, but it's, it's his vision, it's his ideas, it's his thoughts.
When you were watching the verses, as we all were there times where you would text him or have communication on the side where you were wondering what was coming next, or what was he going to play next, or how are you feeling about blah, blah, blah?
No, not at all. That was one of those, let me just sit back and eat my popcorn and enjoy this, because I was really surprised he did it. I didn't talk to him right before or right after, so I don't know all the ins and outs of why he did do it. I was surprised because, of course, Jeezy tried to have him killed. So that's not something, that was what baffled me about Jeezy's angle of it, was like, why would you just think that would be cool and like, oh yeah, don't worry about that, when you tried to have the dude killed? So I was surprised on many levels he did it, but I also think, as Gucci says in the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness, if you look backwards, you might trip when you're trying to go forward.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite lines.
And that's, that's what Gucci has clearly done, as we talk about in the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness. He used to be close to 300 pounds. He used to be addicted to lean. He used to be doing all kinds of drugs and alcohol and all that, and he cut all that stuff out. And one of my other favorites, which ties directly into this, is the haters are going to say you were cloned. And the reason why Gucci said that is because, when he was incarcerated and started changing his diet, his mentality, all the things that led to the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness, once he got out and people saw like he had lost all this weight and now he's got a six pack and now he's like muscular and all these things that he wasn't prior to his incarceration, it's like people, if they don't understand what you did or how you improved yourself, they're going to criticize you. And for his detractors, it was that he was cloned because, wait a minute, this can't be the same guy. And Gucci's like, they're saying that because they're not understanding you. But on top of that, they're not willing to put in the hard work to do what you did. And one thing that Gucci and I talked about, you know, he has more than 100 projects between mixtapes and albums and studio albums and all this different stuff. And one thing we talked about, which, you know, we ended up incorporating into the book, is I've had more than 3,500 articles published. So, and that's in the New York Times, the LA Times, Chicago Tribune, Double XL, Source, all of them, Rolling Stone. And the thing is, somebody be like, man, Soren, how'd you write so many articles? It's like, well, I just sit down and write them and do the interviews and do the work. Like they didn't just magically end up in a magazine or end up in a newspaper. And for somebody to be like, oh, Soren, you know, you're lucky or whatever. I'm like, no, I was the one that did, first of all, since I was 10 years old, but listening to rap all day, every day. Then I worked hard to try to become a writer. And then I improved as a writer. Then I got the chance to meet people like MC Serch and Dana Dane and LL Cool J and all these guys that I grew up listening to, and Exhibit and Slick Rick, all the guys, and Chuck D and RBX and Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Ice-T and the list goes on and on and on. But that's because I studied the music. That's because I tried to be a great writer. And that's what Gucci did. He flipped his whole life around to say, you know, as he talks about in the book, changing his diet, changing how he thinks, all these things that I've done in different ways over the years too, to where I haven't had any soda since 1989. You know, I've never smoked or drank or done any drugs or alcohol or anything. And these were all conscious decisions I made when everybody else I know was smoking or drinking or doing more than that even. And I was just like, I have no interest in that. I want to be great. I want to be a great writer. I want to be interviewing artists and hanging out with them. And now I know people's kids and I've been to their houses and I've traveled with them and all this stuff because I love rap and I wanted to be great at what I did. And that's one of the many things Gucci and I have in common, is that we saw what we wanted and we saw the changes we need to make. And that's all in the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness, how he changed his life to become a better person, a better now a father, a better husband, all these different things that he talks about. These are parallel to what I've done in my life in my own way. And that's what made, when I first was presented with the opportunity to do this book, I was so excited because, one, I thought Gucci was very misunderstood. And then two, there's so much negativity that surrounds rap all the time, as you know, Serch, that I wanted to help put something out there that was immensely, if not totally, positive. And, you know, yeah, it's hard to do this stuff, but if you actually apply it, it will change your life and it will help you. And Gucci Mane was, you know, the prime best person to do that to me because he's changed his life.
Yeah, no, he and beyond changing his life, he continues to make, you know, music that the masses gravitate towards. You know, the record he just put out with Mulatto. I mean,
he's got so many.
I mean, he's just, like you said, he's got so many. There was a period on the verses, and I do want to get your sense on this because, you know, I've also had something very similar with Gucci. An artist tried to kill me as well. Difference is, me personally, I'm never going to let that go. It's just, I don't look back at it. I'm just saying it's just not something I can easily get worked through.
That's understandable.
And I give him a lot of credit, but he went one step further. And on stage, on that stage, he accepted. I mean, he even apologized. I mean, it was crazy. He apologized to Jeezy, and really, I thought that it was a very, not only humane, but just a Gandhi-like sense of who he was. because what it seemed to me like on that Versus stage was Gucci was surrounded with people that were very much permanent in his life. And Jeezy was surrounded by the Rick Rosses, the fly-by-nights, if you will. And I wouldn't say Rick Ross is a fly-by-night. That's inaccurate. But it just seemed to be there was two different cuts of cloth on that stage. And I just wanted to know your take on that. And, obviously that being in line with what the book is, but I mean, even I was like, word? Like, your word? Like, shouldn't it be the other way around? And of course, Jeezy then reciprocated. But I mean, what was your take on that?
Well, I think it's very consistent with who Gucci is. Like, he's got his crew and his people that are down for him. And if you're down for him, most likely you're going to have been down with them for a while, because he's not from everything I know about Gucci from before getting to know him to now getting to know him, he's not a wishy-washy dude when it comes to a personal relationship. And as we talked about in Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness, he talks about having some of his friends from elementary school and high school that he's still around and he still talks to and he's still with them. So in some of the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness lessons, like, he talks about the accountability, and he talks about, like, hey, if my boy or I say, hey, we're going to get in shape by the Super Bowl, and then you see me eating a bunch of hot dogs and nachos and 2 pizzas, then, you don't come to me 3 months from now when you weigh 14 pounds more and be like, oh yeah, I got to get on that. Like, nah, dog. Like, but that's the accountability in his friends that he's had for a long time. And he talks about in the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness, I think, have helped him with that because, as you know, Serch, if you know somebody a long time, they're probably, how to read them and they know how to read you. And as we also both know, once you achieve a certain level of status in life, and it doesn't mean artistically or as a celebrity, but if you become the manager at your store, now you have a certain level of celebrity within that community. We all deal with this in different ways, whether we're in entertainment or not. And I think Gucci has a keen understanding and a keen insight with that. And that's why we talked about in Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness, like, one of the things that we both do too is, like, who's holding you accountable? Like, we both, as creative people, Serch, we know, like, if you have a deadline, you can watch TV or you can meet your deadline. You can go to the club and try to have fun, or back in the days, try to get a girl or whatever, or you could do your work, do your job. And that's something that Gucci takes to heart. And that's why, when you think about it, Gucci has released more than 100 projects. Like, that's astonishing just to even think about it. And he's done it in about 15 years, which makes it even more remarkable. This is not a guy that came out in the 80s that's just been putting out projects, to a year for 40 years. Like, no, he's done it in 15. And that just shows you, like, you can say whatever you want. You don't like his music, or you think he's this, or you think he's that, but the dude is dedicated and focused and delivers. And he's done it for a long time.
Speaking of holding accountable, and we're going to end with this, he talks about the power of his relationship. And, obviously marriage is one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Congratulations. It's a beautiful thing.
I'm talking about him. But no,
okay.
It's the same thing for me too. I'm married, I'm married 32 years. My wife makes me so happy. I found a great wife, a supportive wife, a wife with an income who helps me. Wife is already financially literate and had skills she could help me with. She challenges me to get better. She holds me accountable too. When I share stuff with her and say, here's what I'm going to do, I'm going to go try to put out a better album, get in better shape, and watch what I eat and watch what I say. I know I got somebody who can set me straight. She can be like, I know you want to watch what you eat, but then every day you want to go out to eat. She checks me and says, "Damn, you said you were going to the trainer. Come on, Gucci. I haven't seen you go to the gym." She's somebody that's doing something. We've had similar paths to greatness. She's self-made. It's not like we're just married. It's not like I was trying to find a wife to help me. But in a lot of ways, my wife is my secret weapon. Did he? I mean, look at how happy he is in this marriage. And you talk about, their relationship. When you guys were talking about this part of the book and this chapter, was this more him or was this more you? Like, how did you guys both figure that, you know what, this is the best way to end the book?
Well, that was chronologically the thing that made the most sense of this is, in your life, kind of to be able to reach this full level of greatness, you need a team. And as somebody who's married, Serch, the most important person on your team, if you are married, is your spouse. And Gucci learned that, as he talks about in the Gucci Man Guide to Greatness. Like, I didn't think a wife was something for me when he was a kid. He didn't think about it. He didn't understand it. But as he got older, that was something he wanted. And when he met Keisha and got that going, he learned so much from her. And I think in a way, it seemed like he was kind of in awe of her, of what she did in her mind and all those things. And to make it the end of the book, it's like it takes you through this journey of like all these different ways to be accountable. And then toward the end, when you find a partner, in his case, his wife, that is going to help push him and check him and celebrate him, like that's a very powerful and a beautiful thing when, you don't, as somebody like Gucci, who's super accomplished, could have this huge ego and never listen to her. As he says in the book, like his friends would be like, "Oh, I ain't gonna listen to a woman." Like Gucci's like, "Why wouldn't you? Like, they're obviously very intelligent. Why would you not listen to a woman?" And he had seen that happen as a teenager, as a little kid, and even as he grew up as an adult. And I think that is kind of one of the main things that does help you win, is that partnership. Because if we take it outside of a marriage relationship, in business, no person in the history of the world has ever done everything by themselves. It's not possible. You need people, you need a team, you need support. And that was very important for Gucci. So when, I would go through his social media posts as we started working on the book, I had identified, it ended up switching and stuff, but I had identified things of like, okay, there's some sections about his friends. Here's some stuff about how to improve yourself. Here's some stuff about his family. Here's some stuff about, how you got to carry yourself. So I had already kind of thought about how to section things off or to make it into the sections of the book that ended up being the Gucci Man Guide to Greatness. But one that was huge was family and having a wife. And that's very important to him, and it's something he's proud of, and he should be, because it seems from everything I can tell, like they have a fantastic relationship and they really do help and inspire and push each other, which, in my life, thankfully, I have a woman that does that for me. And I know you do too, Serch. So it's like, when you have that, that's a huge, huge benefit that a lot of people search for in their lives that they don't end up having. And so, the three of us are fortunate to have that.
Four of us, because my man Pumice too. Also, Pumice, I don't know if you knew this, but he bit your cake. He saw the cake you had at your wedding, and he bit your whole shit.
That's where you got it from? Pumice, yeah. Come on, man. You gotta promote.
Mine was a little wider than that because I like to eat cake.
Yeah, this was a foul move on his part. Bro, I could keep you literally. I could keep you on here for hours to talk about this book. Except I do want to pivot really quick because you have another great book, The History of Gangster Rap.
Yes.
So obviously it's got to be a passion project for you to do this book, because I know you to be a fan of that genre of hip hop. As much as you love De La, as much as you and I have had conversations about, Public Enemy and Native Tongues and that era and how it pivoted to Nas and all of that. You are a diehard gangster rap guy from Schoolie D on and on and on. So tell me about the genesis of how you pitched that book and got that book done.
Well, I had a radio show that I co-hosted with Exhibit on K-Day out here in Los Angeles. Exhibit and his uncle had reached out to me and like, hey man, or Exhibit's uncle was like, you need to have Soren co-host a show with you, Exhibit. So then Exhibit called me and we had a great run on that on K-Day. But when Exhibit and I were doing one of the shows, George Hinojosa, who's Ice-T's manager, heard me on there and he's like, Soren. He called me. I've known George and Ice since the 90s. And George was like, how come you're not doing more of these rap books, Soren? And I said, well, I've had a few come out and I've had a few that faltered at the finish line. And then I've had, a lot of ear hustle, like we were talking about earlier. And so I want to write more of these books than I should be from, according to me and everybody that I talked to. So he was like, well, I said, so if you want to help me, George, that's cool. But if not, believe me, I'm trying. And he was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? So we talked about 3 ideas. And since George knows me, of course, through Ice-T and some of the other things that George has done, and George is phenomenal, he was like, well, let's try to do the history of gangster rap. So I wrote up a proposal and we sent it to Samantha Weiner over at Abrams, and she loved it. And they ended up giving us a great deal and let me do it. And I was so thankful because I love all types of rap pretty much equally. But I think gangster rap in particular, as I was saying with Gucci, I think is very misunderstood because the thing that a lot of people, I think, overlook or don't appreciate or don't understand is that from Schoolie D, Ice-T, Eazy-E, NWA, Ice Cube, all these guys, they showed the highs and lows of the street life. They did not celebrate it. Later, I'd say the lesser artists came in and were celebrating being drug dealers and all these different things. But when you listen to Ice-T and a song like Pain or Squeeze the Trigger or Colors, he's not glorifying it clearly if you listen to these songs. He's showing you the downside of it, the horrors of it, that you're going to get incarcerated. Your sister's going to get addicted to drugs. Look at Dope Man by NWA. Like, this whole song is showing you, like, not only is the dope man a bad person that you don't want to be or be around, but his girl is a strawberry and they don't love her, respect her. Like, you're going to be a dope head, a dope fiend. And as you know, Serch, this was also beyond gangster rap with Public Enemy, with EPMD, with Rob Bass. So many artists, we even had lines, even NWA, like talked about not doing drugs, and we don't do drugs, and that was just one of those things that when gangster rap came, I think because they used profanity, because they used the N-word, because they called women bees and were about not taking trash from the police or anybody, I think that threw people off to where they couldn't get past the profanity or the fact that they were listening to these black men that were quote unquote angry or whatever, that they couldn't understand what they were saying and they dismissed it. And I think the rap community did that. I think the mainstream media did that. And I think certain segments of the fans did as well. So to want to write this book was to show this brilliance that Schoolie D had as one of the most sampled artists in rap history. And most rap fans know very little about him, which is astonishing to me. Like, Big E's covered one of his songs. Jay-Z's covered one of his songs. He's been sampled hundreds of times. Even recently, Nicki Minaj used one of his flows on Bees in the Trap. And that's Nicki Minaj and 2 Chainz. That's a huge single that came out in the 2010s, and Schoolie D made that song in '85. So that just shows the layers and the levels and the evolution of it. And even Busta Rhymes on Extinction Level Event 2, I think it's on the song with Q-Tip. He said, looking at my Gucci is about that time, or referenced that. And that's Gucci time. That's 85 also. And that's Busta Rhymes on a new album that came out in 2020. That's not a gangster rap album. But that shows you, and Ice-T, of course, and all these guys have expanded to be these cultural entertainment icons, but it all stems from this phenomenal music that they made that really showed mainstream America, white America, or America that wasn't paying attention about this police brutality way before Rodney King, that showed people about Reaganomics way before the country understood how that decimated the country. Like Ice-T was doing that. This is all things that are very important. And this has nothing to do with how I feel about the artists, because I hold them all equally, but it was also important for me to show that while these artists were getting derided and criticized and all this, they were selling way more records than basically everybody else. So I did a chart in the book, The History of Gangster Rap, where I showed just the gangster rap albums that went gold or platinum in 1991 and all the other rap albums. And it's almost equal of pop rap, conscious rap, whatever, and then gangster rap. It's almost equal, just gangster rap by itself compared to all other forms of rap. And it's like these guys were selling lots of records and being very influential. And in my opinion, showing this brilliant element of poetry that Schoolie D said he was inspired by Melly Mel and The Message. You know, Too Short said he was inspired, not that Too Short's a gangster rapper, but so many people were inspired by the great music from New York that helped inspire them to create this beautiful thing, I think, of gangster rap, that I was excited to do it. And I love Ice Cube, I love Ice-T, I love Schoolie D, I love Dr. Dre, I love Snoop Dogg, I love Compton's Most Wanted and DJ Quick and Game and all these artists that, you know, don't get I think, revered in the way that a lot of other artists do. So that's why I wanted to do it.
Yeah, I wanted to share a couple of funny kind of anecdotes when it comes to that with you. I always find it so humorous that in Express Yourself, NWA, Dr. Dre said, "I don't smoke weed or cess because it's known to give a brother brain damage. And brain damage on the mic don't manage nothing.
Don't make a sucker and you equal.
You equal, right? Don't be another sequel." And then the Chronic only came 5 or 6 years later. That's
less than
that. And then my other personal favorite was Compton's Most Wanted. One time gaffled them up. Second verse, they were in the car bumping the Cactus. Where I was so blown away,
as they should,
by the fact that these young brothers from California were bumping some kids from New York's music when they were getting pulled over by the cops, right? So fast forward, I don't know, 3 or 4 years later, I'm in LA and I see MC8 on the side of the street, and he's at a phone booth. So I pull over on some big dog shit, and I'm like, "Hey, what up, 8?" And I said, "Yo, man, I never really had a chance to tell you. I really appreciate how you mentioned how you were bumping the Cactus and one time gaffled them up." He's like, "Yeah, man, that record was serious. We loved it. We loved the beats on that record." And we got into this whole conversation. I said, "You need a ride somewhere?" He's like, "Nah, I'm good." And he walks into a brand new 93 like S600 Mercedes 2-door coupe. And I'm like, how the fuck does this dude from Compton's Most Wanted, who no one's heard outside of LA, got a 600? And it was because of that, because I was so in a box outside of, New York was the epicenter, and anything outside of New York didn't sell no records. It was really that was my philosophy.
Well,
Wow, Wizside just wrote you a whole movie. Hold on. Yo, Soren, perfect timing that you're here. You wrote a piece for MTV back in 2001 when you mentioned Zev Love X, MF Doom would reunite with Third Base on their forthcoming album and also promote another KMD album eventually. I'm assuming that was Ichabod's Cranium. Serch? To both you, Soren, and Serch, can you speak on the potential reunion? Wow. First, wow.
And I've been in it for a minute, that's for sure.
Wow. So
thanks for
if
a link
anybody
right
wants
there.
to read the piece.
That's incredible right there.
Wow. So first of all, I didn't even know you wrote that piece. Thank you. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
Man, I was so can I just absolutely shout out to WizSide. I was so disappointed that we didn't make that album. I was so disappointed that we didn't make Ichabod's Cranium's album. But I also realized that where Pete was and where I were, it would have been such a letdown as an album. It just because we weren't communicating as two artists in a group. You know, it was an opportunity where we could have owned the masters. It was an opportunity where I had my own deal at Sony at the time through Red. I had my own funding. I was putting up all the money for the studio. I was putting up all the money for the promotion. We went on a European tour with the Roots and D'Angelo, and you know, we were throwing cassettes out into the crowd that were teasers. I had Stone Rivers, an artist I just saw on one side, and we were on the other side.
I think I did the bio search for you back in the day.
Yes, you did.
I did. I remember that.
The thing that was really disappointing, though, you know, it's funny because then, you know, 7 years later, I put out Mila, which was Many Young Lives Ago, which was the unreleased MC Serch and Third Base demos that I had remixed and remastered. And I just remembered how disappointing it was that that album never came to fruition. And it was one of those things where, yeah, I remember getting in touch with MF Doom, and, you know, it was going to be this great kumbaya moment. And, you know, Pete disappeared. Like, he just one day just stopped coming to the studio. And that was it. That was it.
I'm sorry to hear that, because you guys had a great chemistry and magic during your run. And then as somebody that loved KMD, I was so excited to not only hear it, but the evolution of what Zev Love X, aka MF Doom. Hey, yo, Dre, what's up?
Yeah. What up, Dre?
But to see the evolution of what that was going to be, because the man currently known as MF Doom had evolved so much from Peach Fuzz and all the other things that he had done as Zev Love X earlier on. I was interested to see where we're going to get the Mr. Hood, the Black Bastards, the, you know, which
Operation Doomsday.
Yeah, which incarnation of this genius lyricist, mastermind of lyrics were we going to get?
Right.
So,
yeah. Thank you, WizSide. Milo was nuts. Handle It is actually my favorite song by you. Thank you. I got to be honest with you. My favorite song still on that thing is Daily Commute. That was one of those songs I wrote in one take. You know, you talk about kind of piecing things together. That was one of those songs that I wrote it and recorded it all in one shot. It was one take. It was one take thing.
That's pretty awesome. Sorry,
this is our mutual friend, the incredible Andre Leroy Davis, who did all of the comics at the end of in the back of the source.
The last word.
The last word, always. Soren, I can't thank you enough. Please, everybody, go out and support this right here. This is such a good Thanksgiving gift.
Yeah.
It's such a good Black Friday gift. It's such a good Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Eid, Christmas gift. Also, the History of Gangster Rap is available, so make sure you cop that. One last thing, Soren. Cheo Adari Coker announced this week that he'll be actually producing the film on the first book, the autobiography of Gucci Mane's, the first book. Yes. Are you going to be involved in that in any way? Is there anything you can share with us about that project? The film side of it, I mean?
No, I can't really speak on that, so I'll leave that alone. But
wow, well,
I'm very excited about it.
I'm disappointed that you're not giving us any of the treats. No, I mean, there's only 100,000 people listening right now, so it's not like anybody's listening.
No,
but whatever.
I'm excited.
Anyway, thank you, brother, and thank you for your time. And we will be sending you and your beautiful family a lovely gift basket courtesy of Melted Mike's, and I have another little special treat in there for you as well, a little cookie, little cookie I'm going to bless you with. But ladies and gentlemen, the curator of this culture in his pen. He got a wicked pen, but his name's not G-Rap. Soren Baker, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Soren. Thank you so much, man. Salute to you, brother. My pleasure. Where's Nate Bell at, man? We got to get Nate. Quick question: Is our friends from Detroit going to be on the show? Did we get in touch with them, Nate Bell?
No, they are not going to join us.
They're not going to do it.
Well, no, not that they're not going to do it. Said it. Read your text message.
All right, I'm reading it right now. Said FYI, said is having trouble getting his people on.
Reading
phone.
it out loud.
I mean,
I know, right?
Well, it's better to read it out loud than to just not read it at all. I don't know. What am I saying? What am I talking? I have no idea what I'm talking about. What am I saying? What am I doing? What am I saying? Wow, that was great. What did you learn? Did you learn anything from that, Pumice?
I learn weird things because I'm weird. I learned that Soren is like myself and has never done any kind of drugs or alcohol. So that's interesting to me.
Yeah, that is also interesting. But I knew that. It's like one of those things you kind of knew. However, this is what I forgot is that he did that show, that he had that radio show at Exhibit. So now we know where to get in touch with people. We'll have to hit him up to get in touch with people. I want to do something really quickly because I wanted to do it with Soren, but Soren was a little reluctant, and that's okay. But Jensen Karp, you remember when we had Hot Carl on the show?
Yeah.
A while back, he said he was putting out a trivia game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what I got?
You got the trivia game?
Hip Hop Bid
Look
to
at
Win.
that.
Yep. So I'm trying to try to open this. I want to see if you can answer any of these questions. And if our audience can answer any of the questions, I'll tell you what. If the audience, do we have the phone number up? Does the phone number work? Or have we been having any luck with it?
I can figure out to see if it'll work. Let's see.
Have Nate, send Nate the number. See if it'll work first with Nate.
I can make the call. It's not a question of whether people can.
While we do that. So this is what we're going to do, people. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, yo, where's mine? That's right. Eric won one. We got to send it to him. Remember? Eric was one of the people that actually won one. Yeah.
Huh.
So we got to send him that. Anyway, you can order this. If you didn't win it, let me give you the information. You can go to the social media is at the OP Games. So make sure you put that down, Pumice. It is at the THEO is in Oscar, P is in Paul Games. And you can order this book. 100% of the book. I'm sorry, the 100%. I got book on the brain. 100% of the proceeds of this are going to a bunch of really good places. All of the profits are going to Black Lives Matter, which Jensen says in this letter that he sent to me. He said, I'll be donating all of my profits from the sale of this game to Black Lives Matter, which feels like at least the least thing I can do to repay a culture that I've lived in as a visitor and cherished since I was 7 years old. Oh, see, that's going to make me cry. I don't want to cry. I don't like crying. Features 600 questions by Jensen Karp. All right, let's open this bad boy up and let's ask some questions. And what we're going to do is, ladies and gentlemen, if you get these right before Pumice, we will
this is the challenge.
We will buy you the game. All right, but you have to. Do we want them to call in? How do we want to do this?
Well, we can have them comment first, but let's see if Nate can call in.
Damn, Wizside is on his hustle, man. Wizside knows everything about the show from London.
He knows everything about third base.
I don't know about all of that.
He knows more about third base than you do.
Wow. You know what? That might scare me to be true, actually. Wow, this is a really cool game. So check this out. So the moving parts are mixtapes, little mixtapes.
Oh, look at that.
That's so dope. Okay. And then you have different players with different cards. Okay. So I'm going to open up a deck. Oh, this is so much fun. I'm so excited. I'm not even gonna lie.
Which side knows the phone number?
He knows the phone number, and he says he might know more than anybody else. Which side? If you know the number, call it. Let's see if we can pick you up.
Are you able to hear this? Can you hear Nate on the phone?
Hello? I hear my echo.
Hello.
Can you hear Nate?
I heard hello.
That wasn't me. So the phone works.
Nate.
Serch is currently biting into the game to take apart the game cards.
I don't hear anybody.
He's not talking.
That's funny. That's funny. No chingy questions. Chingay. We should ask somebody. What's the Kanye line about chingy?
Nate, can you hear Serch?
I can hear Serch just fine.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
and I can hear
go.
Nate just fine. All right. So let's get somebody on the phone and let's play this game.
So, yep, we hung up on him.
Okay.
So
all right.
In case someone calls
So
in.
let's get somebody on the phone. 561-4 hip hop.
I should know the correct one. It's 561-444-7467. That sounds right.
Yep.
You got to ask some questions, or we're gonna get someone on the line.
Nope, I'm about to answer questions. But
you need someone on the line, right? So that in case I need to beat them.
Yes. How about this? I'll ask you a question.
Eric Ford should call in. He never calls in.
I don't want Eric Ford to call him. He's won too many things.
You think he's a friend of mine? Oh, here's the problem right now. I have all phone calls blocked that I don't know. So hold on, let me.
Gotcha.
I got to turn that off.
Okay.
So I can get spam calls again.
Well, you'll just turn it back on.
I'll turn it back on later, but all right. So somebody called, but we'll call them back.
Unknown caller.
There, see?
Okay.
Siri tells us who's calling in.
Yep. I hear
Who do we have?
Unknown caller.
Yo, Pummers.
What's up? We're hearing ourselves in the background.
Hello? Yo, Pummers.
What's up? We're hearing ourselves.
You got to turn us down. Whoever you are, turn us down. Turn you up, turn me down.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Got a cramp.
Oh, yeah.
Hello?
Oh, God. I got a cramp.
That's not a cramp.
Yeah, I got a cramp.
That's called gas.
Whatever, dude. Who's on the phone? Hello, who we got?
Hey, how you doing, Serch? This is T. Called in a few months ago.
Hey, T. How are you, brother?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm pretty good.
Where you calling from?
Calling from Sudan.
Sudan? Wow, it's a good hike. All right, so here's the thing. Here's the situation, my brother. I'm going to ask you a question. If you get it right, we're going to send you a game. It's real simple. All right?
All right.
We're going to do one question and he wins? All right.
One question. And if you don't, I mean, how many do you want to do? Like the best
Maybe
3
best
out of 5?
of 3?
Best of
like
3.
Two,
all right.
Best of 3.
Best of 3. All right. Best of 3. Is that all right with you, brother?
That's perfect. Are they going to be third base questions?
No,
these are randoms.
No, these are all randos. It's like people. It's these questions are the equivalent of like you going to the club. It's just a bunch of randos. All right.
You might want to clean it off at the end of the night.
Yeah, exactly right. Wear your mask. All right, here we go. Which fellow Compton MC sent threatening tweets to rapper YG alleging to have engineered his hit single without receiving credit?
This is way too new for me.
Well, no, but that's because nobody asked you.
Yeah, well, you're asking me and T.
I'm asking T.
I know.
Which fellow Compton MC sent threatening tweets to rapper YG alleging to have engineered his hit single without receiving credit?
I don't know that one.
Good. Good. That's the correct answer.
Can we give him a burn?
Don't know it.
Come on. Really? You're being such an anti.
The correct answer is that we don't know.
No, the
These are too
correct.
new.
I'll give you the correct answer. The correct answer is DJ Quick. DJ Quick.
Okay.
The answer is Quick. You know, and just in the honor of Alex Trebek, please answer every question in the form of a question. All right. Eric Ford. No, it was not Kendrick Lamar. Please give him the buzzer, please.
The
Myron,
dryer.
yes, you did think so, Myron? Well, how about you call in, Myron? How about that? Okay. All right,
gets another. We get two more chances
right,
here.
So you get two more questions. Two more questions. You got to get them both right, T, in order to get the game for Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or Christmas, or if you're an atheist, for the day that you like.
All right.
Here we go. What was the name of A Tribe Called Quest's final album? It was the name of A Tribe Called Quest's final album.
Like, do I get to guess too?
No.
Tribe Called Quest.
Final album. And in honor of Alex Trebek, please answer the question in the form of a question.
It was recent, actually.
Okay.
3 seconds.
Let me see.
He's looking it up.
Nope. Yo, we can't have anybody be looking it up on their phone. Like, that's not cool. Like, here's the bottom line. They have to answer in 3 seconds. Thank you. Well, T, we want to thank you. I'll tell you what, T, I'm going to give you one more question, and if you get it right, you're going to get the I'm going to send you the game. All right, is that fine? There's the correct answer is
we got it from here. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Not thank you for your service. We got it from here. But I think the judges would have accepted.
We would have.
Okay. So
I would have.
Yes. Okay, well then that's what it is.
Yeah.
By the way, Michael Andrew, it's not I got it from here.
Maybe he does. Maybe he's offering that he's got it from here.
Okay. I got you. Okay. All right. Last one, T, from Sudan. Are you ready, T?
Is Sudan a different country?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What British-born MC is heard on both Queen Latifah's Ladies First and De La Soul's Buddy, the Native Tongue Decision?
Moni Love.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button. Because that is right.
That is the right answer. Congratulations, T. It is Moni Love. You are correct. T, we're going to need your email address. Please send it to our comments
Just
board.
text it. He could just text it to 444 hip hop.
All right.
Okay, send it to 444 hip hop. No, it's my pleasure. I hope it makes your Hanukkah, Christmas, Eid, and Kwanzaa that much more Hanukkah-y, Eid-y, Kwanzaa-y, Hanukkah-y, and Christmas-y. And thank you for
Serch,
thank you for listening, brother.
In honor of the Cactus turned 31 years 2 weeks ago, I have like a quick question for you.
Yeah.
So, who is Jerome Williker, and why did you give him the gas face?
Jerome Williker was not. I did not give Jerome Williker the gas face. Jerome Williker was given the gas face by Subrock.
Okay.
So do you have the answer of who it was?
It was a dude around. I just remember it was a dude from around KMD's way. See, GYP Posse and KMD, we all grew up together in Long Beach, Long Island. So that was one dude that they wanted to just give the gas face to.
Pretty badly that it ended up on a record.
Okay,
pretty much. Yeah,
that's
he was
pretty
not.
funny.
It was pretty funny.
Because that lives in infamy forever.
Exactly right.
Right.
Yep.
And
yes, T.
He's got another.
He's got another. Yes.
So prior to Third Base, there was what was the group? There was the Servant Generals, with Lord Scott, Sharmeek, the Beat Miser, and obviously Pete. That eventually dissolved and became third base later on. I know Pete's. I've never really heard him speak about it. I know it was spoken on in what's it called? Check the Technique Volume 2. But can you speak on what happened there with Brooklyn Queens and how it went from being a concept for the Surgeon General to third base?
I didn't know that the Servant Generals even made any demos, really, right? So Lord Scotch and I went to high school together, and Shamik and Lord Scotch were boys together, correct. Well, we went to Music and Art and then LaGuardia, but correct. And Shamik and Scotch were they wrote graffiti together. And I didn't know that was a song or even a concept that was something that the Servant Generals put together. I remember us being in the studio and it just being a title that we all thought was dope because, we'd come from the borough of Queens and the borough of Brooklyn, and we just thought it would be dope to have a record called Brooklyn Queens. I later found out that it might have been a demo, but I've never heard the song. And from what I understand from Keo, Lord Scotch, they never made a song. But I don't know if that's 100% accurate or not. I just know that was conceptually something that I thought we had discussed and executed together when we were with Prince Paul in the studio.
Okay.
So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but
I think he's like scraping. He's got these questions. He's like scraping away and getting the questions. Go ahead. T, go ahead. You had another one?
Hello?
I love.
Listen, T, we're gonna. There's a little bit of a delay, I guess, but T, we're gonna move on. But thank you for listening and thank you for your questions, brother. And we will get this game out to you ASAP.
All right.
Thank you. All right, so let's go to our next caller.
If anyone calls.
If anyone calls, it's
5614 hip hop. And
5614 hip hop. Yeah.
I even got rid of the banner and everything because I didn't think we'd be using that. It wasn't.
All right.
Oh no, I got it. Oh, here I forgot. There it is.
There it is. All right, let's take another call.
If anybody's around.
Yeah, we'll give it 30 seconds more. I'm gonna call. I'm gonna see if I can get. Are
we allowed to do this?
Nate. Did Nate say, are we allowed to do this? Is that what he said?
I said that.
Oh, Nate, can you see if you can get in touch with Sed one more time and see if they can get in touch with the guys in the studio? It's important to me.
Knuckleheads.
Y'all call in. Yeah, listen to Wizside. Y'all call in.
Eric Ford refuses to call in for some reason.
Also, we got some really great guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to really end the year off with a bang, 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 bang. Thank you. So I'm excited about the upcoming shows. And again, if you don't know, I'm going to explain it to you one more time. The show is sponsored by Bruetta Tea. They have a new flavor for the winter. It is an amazing herbal essence. It is
have you had
an African sorrel. Yes, I have. It's great. Go to bruettatea.com. Use the Serch says, and you will receive a discount on a tumbler tea pack. Again,
it looks like potpourri.
Tea. It's so fruity and so flavorful. It's amazing. That's Bruetta Tea or Bruetta.com. Excuse me. BRUETTA.com. You can find them on Instagram as well at Bruetta. Make sure you get your tumbler tea package. All right. Again, 5614 hip hop, 5614 hip hop. While we're waiting, I'm going to give you one question, Pumice. I'll make sure.
So the Wizside is okay. Wizside is T. That's who we were just talking to.
Oh, was it?
He's in
cool.
Sudan.
Unknown caller.
Oh, cool.
Which is Dallas. It
Oh,
was
I
a
see.
5%er reference.
Oh, that's dope. Thank you, Wizside. Peace to the gods.
Who's on the line?
Hello.
No screening. We're just going to put you on the air.
What's up, son?
What up, son?
Serch.
Yes.
I made it.
Who is it? I feel like I'm talking to a wall sometimes. Can you hear us?
Can you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
We can hear you.
No, I can't.
Okay, who is this?
This is Eric.
Eric Ford.
It's Eric Ford. There we go.
There's the legendary Serch fan podcast super fan.
I bet he's a top fan. Are you a top fan on the page?
Top 5.
There you go.
He's
you
in
are.
the top 5. He's a 5%er with side. Peace to the God. All right. So you're gonna get also. You're gonna get a 3 out of 5. Best out of 3. 2 out of 3. All right.
Okay.
And do you even want the game?
Of course he does.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I'm still waiting for I won the game from the first time. I'm still waiting for the first game.
Oh, that's right.
Well, that's because the games just came in. Why do we have him on the? You know what? Hang up on Eric. Just why do we have him on the phone?
No, he makes a good point. We're gonna make him play a game to win the game he's already.
No. You know what we'll do for him? Because you have a game coming anyway, Eric. Because the game just came out, and we owe you a game, so it's on its way. We're gonna send you a gift, a Melted Mike's gift pack of T-shirts if you get these 2 out of 3 right. Fair?
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
All right, so let's do this.
All right, here we go. What founding member of the coup went on to write and direct the film Sorry to Bother You? What founding member of the rap group The Coup went on to write and direct the film Sorry to Bother You? 3 seconds.
Oh, seriously, I thought you were throwing me like a softball.
It is a softball.
Is it? Oh my God.
All right. Give him
I can't remember.
Thank you for that. The answer for that is Boots Riley. Boots Riley from The Coup.
Oh man.
Here we go. Here's another one. If you want a softball, that's what she said. On Positive K's, I Got a Man. Who's heard as the female voice on the song?
Oh, come on.
On Positive K's, I Got a Man. Who is
Eric,
heard
if you don't know this, I'm going to be
female
pretty
voice
upset.
on the song?
He doesn't know it. He doesn't
3
know.
seconds.
Now, this is
she's like.
Thank you. All right. You know what? Be happy with your fucking game, Eric. Think of nothing.
So
Jesus
I've spent forever. Actually, now I can do it. I spent forever looking for an acapella so that I can pitch shift his voice back up so you can hear him.
Thanks for letting me try.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, you know what? We still, you know what? Seriously, on the real, I want you to have a wonderful Thanksgiving, brother. And thank you for being a super fan and always listening every week and supporting us. You could, spread the word a little more in social media, but I realize you only have 15 followers. So it is what it is. Anyway.
It is.
It is what it is. Thank you, brother. No, but seriously, we will be sending you out. Make sure you retext us your information just in case this meatball pumice lost it. And we'll send you the game.
Absolutely.
I have some games coming this week, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving, brother.
Hey, you be safe, man.
You too, brother. Peace.
Like what's his name?
What? It's very disappointing to me that this game has such simple questions, and yet our true diehard fans can't answer.
I think they're pretty obscure, some of them.
Boots Riley from The Coup directing.
I don't even. Those are all new names to me.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Shout out to my man, Chris Seymour. What up, kid? One love, brother. Save the deli. Yes, we need to do that. So for all my people in Orlando, please, all my people in Orlando, Central Florida, South Florida, there are workers that are out here for Thanksgiving. Please go buy your sides at 2J's Deli. Any 2J's in Florida, please go to Orlando, Tampa, Naples, South Florida, West Palm, and just please support my brothers and my sisters at 2J's Deli. They're good people. Shout out to my man Chris Seymour and 2J's Deli. All right, help them out. Wow, Wizside, man, you killing me, brother. Wizside, when was the last time you spoke to DJ White Knight? When I kicked him out my crib in Queens 30 years ago. I ain't spoke to that kid in 30 years. Yo, okay, that's all right. All right. All right, what's your question, Sean? You got a question for me? What's your question? Hey, Nate, while we're doing this, try said one more time. They're in the studio, man. I want to hear what they're doing, man. Anyway, let's see what Sean says. He has a question. Sean, do you want to call in, Sean?
Oh, here it comes.
Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. Please describe the vibe in the room during the TV rap. Yo, honestly, bro, it was a really good vibe. It was a really good vibe. There was a lot of love in the room, a lot of good vibes. I will share one thing that was a little disappointing that I don't know if a lot of people caught. You might want to, again, it's just one of these small things. It's just a little thing, but it's still what it was. Rakim obviously kills it. KRS kills it. Chubb Rock kills it. He goes to pass me the mic, and I'm froze because I'm acting like such a fan. Because I'm literally watching my favorite MC of all time rhyme 10 feet in front of me. And it's different. I went on tour with Rakim, but it was different watching, And then KRS, who's in my top 5 all time. And then Chubb Rock, who's one of my closest friends. And then he says 2 guns and hands me the mic. And I froze for about a millisecond. You can watch it. I got the biggest, doofiest, nerdiest grin on my face. I'm so happy. And I froze for like 2 seconds. And just as I'm about to grab the mic, Eric Sermon jumps in front of me and grabs the mic. And I was a little tight. And my face scrunched for a second. But then I realized I was on camera. And I went right back to camera grill. I was like, real happy. But it was a great vibe. It was a really cool, and it was an amazing experience. Ted Demi was still alive. May he rest in peace. Yeah, man. Good times. It was really good times, man. Oh, this is another good one. And this has been coming up a lot. So we did In Living Color, and the guys had just won the Emmy for Best Variety Program, which was a big shock. So I had my boys Fade and Nike and Preem, may rest in peace, from the Shirt Kings, make a custom Shirt King jacket for Keenan. And I remember they were like, they wanted to have us all up front and everything. And I was like, nah, I want to bum rush through. I want to do this Queen style. And I said it like that, not style. Style. Queen style. So I said to him, I said, yo, let me just bum rush through Queen style. And the one thing I remember more than anything else is we were all out there. Fly Girls, Rosie, J-Lo, young J-Lo, we're all out there. And I turned to the left just as we're about to go on. And I see Jim Carrey, not even connected with any of us, on the side smoking a cigarette. Like not even on stage with us. And I was just about to be like, yo, Jim, come on, man, stop bullshitting. And they went right to action, right? And then they brought us out, and then I did my whole thing. I bum rushed through, and I gave Keenan the jacket, and we performed. And man, I got to tell you, that setup, that stage was so much fun. And then I saw Jim Carrey, and he was dancing and all that. And we had a lot of fun. But I will tell you, the one show that most people didn't see that I really loved doing was Paul Rodriguez, the comedian. So right around the time we did Arsenio, I think that's his name, Paul Rodriguez. I think that's his name. Mexican comedian, right? Pretty sure that's his name. Anyway, he had a show, and it was the first talk show that was bilingual. So we would go on the show, and we would talk that talk, and then he would basically speak in Spanish to the audience that was watching outside of the U.S. But what they had done, because they had seen Daddy Rich tear it down on Arsenio, is they built the most incredible DJ stage I had ever seen for a television show. They had set him up on a 10-foot riser, right? And they asked him like specifics. What's the level, sir? All custom built, 10-inch riser, camera to the left, camera to the right, but a camera above him, 10 feet up. So that when he did his tricks, when he would backspin this way, they could show it from the top, the left, and the right. It was incredible. Incredible. And John Peters, the famous head of Sony Pictures, was the executive producer. He had just left Sony. He was the executive producer of this show. And the other person that was on the show was Raquel Welch.
Interesting.
Raquel Welch is my father's hall pass. Period. So I went to John Peters and I said, hey, Mr. Peters, look, my father loves Raquel Welch. Is there any way you could get her to maybe take a picture that I could send to my father and maybe have her sign an autograph? And he didn't flinch. Absolutely. Go knock on her door. Absolutely. Oh, this is going to be amazing. Knock on the door. She opens the door. I said, hey, Miss Welch, I'm MC Serch. I'm in a rap group called Third Base. I said, look, my father, he just adores you. Any chance I could get a picture? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. She comes out, big grin, beautiful woman, and even though I was, whatever height I was, she's towering over me. She's wearing really tall heels. We take a picture and I say, is there any chance that I could ask you to sign an autograph from Mervyn to Mervyn? And she goes, didn't I just take a fucking picture with you? Now you want a fucking autograph? And I hear John go, hey, Raquel. And he snaps his finger. Raquel, don't do that. Don't do that. And she grabs the napkin. Give me, what's his name? Said Mervyn, Mervy. I know. Signs it, hands it back.
Like it's a common name. Yeah, I know.
Right. I was so hurt. And I look at the napkin.
Oh, man.
And it says, Dear Marvin. Dear Marvin. Love Raquel. So I'm going to now call my father from backstage and say, good news, bad news. Good news, I met your dream girl, Raquel. Bad news, she's a bitch. That's the spit. That's the whole spiel. Right? Call my father. Hey, I said, hey, Dad. Oh, Michael, where are you? I said, I'm in LA. Oh, nice. I said, Dad, I'm doing this Paul Rodriguez show. I got good news and bad news. I said, good news. I met Raquel Welch. She took a picture. I'm going to have the picture. I'm going to send it to you. Oh my God. You met Raquel Welch? What does she look like? Does she look as good in person? And I said, she's stunning. I said, but the bad news is she really was an asshole. He goes, hey, don't talk bad about Raquel. Don't say anything bad about my Raquel. All of a sudden, I I said, "Are you serious, Dad? Really? Are you?" He's like, "Don't you say anything bad." I said, "All right, Dad. I gotta go. Bye." Anyway, hung up. I don't know. 6 months goes by, and John Peter sent me the photo. The photo was 36 by 48.
Holy cow!
It is huge. My father, to this day, even in his room in hospice in Montana, has that photo framed. He looks at it every day, and in the corner is the autograph to Marvin.
And he has you cut out of it.
I'm definitely all in it. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, but I would love, I don't know where that's one of those videotapes where I would really love to see that episode, because I remember seeing the footage afterwards, right? So when you do those shows, they're taped live, right? So even though they're taped, they're put out there. There's no edit. There's no editing.
It's recorded in the same time it's going to be on TV.
Exactly.
It's an hour long. It's an hour recording.
Taped live, right? So it's taped live, and you do the show, and it was one of these shows where I think they were still working on total distribution, but we got to see it backstage, and it was amazing. I mean, by far the best coverage of a DJ during trick DJing I'd ever seen. And I have a lot of video, but I don't have that one. And that's one of the ones I really wish, of all the third base stuff, I wish I had. But yeah, so that's another one.
Wizside keeps
I know
asking.
I'm not going there. I saw the
interesting.
question.
I had a feeling I knew the answer to that one.
Yeah, but I'm not going there.
I figured as much.
This is pretty funny. I remember the Geraldo episode with third base, Cool Mo D and Luke, and the other brothers. So the one thing about that show that I loved was one of the people that was on that show, because that show was about, not only was it about censorship, but it was about messaging and music. I remember that it was talking about censorship, and there was a young comedian named Bill Maher who was also on that panel. And he said, "Listen, before we start, I just want to say," because it was another show that was taped live, but it wasn't being live on the air. "I just want to say that censorship is fucked." "Oh, you're going to censor that, right?" I just remember that, laughing my ass off. But the thing that I did behind the scenes was, Geraldo Rivera is, I like to say, a fake Latin guy. He's a fake Latino. Because if you go to his college yearbook, his name is Jerry Rivers. He was the president of like the young Jewish something club. Like he's Latino, don't get me wrong, but he was Jerry Rivers. And we knew this because Pete went to Columbia. So the whole time that I'm on stage and people are calling him Geraldo, I'm like, "Yo, Jerry, I got a question. Yo, Jerry, I got a question." And finally he came up to me and he was like, "Yo, you call me Jerry one more time, I will knock you the fuck out." And I will say that, like, even if you see Geraldo now, like, Geraldo's ripped. For an 80-year-old guy, he's got a six-pack. Like, he's nothing to play with. And let me tell you something. He came up to me and he was nothing to play with. Like, but I was like, "Yo, Jerry," I was being such a dick. Yo,
how did he break his nose that one time?
He got into a brawl. No. They got into a brawl. He had racists, black racists, white nationals.
And didn't someone hit him with a chair or something that?
Somebody threw it. Yeah, somebody threw it, and then they were like, "Yo." So anyway, it's
Geraldo Rivera.
It's funny. Anyway, I don't think. Hey, Nate. So no luck with said.
No luck, my friend.
All right, it is what it is. Okay, you know what? It's Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna let everybody go in and enjoy their turkey day. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting the show. Thank you to all of the people that download it. on the different digital platforms. Thank you to Pumice, who's caught up with all of our shows, or most of them, I should say, right?
Yeah, we're getting there.
And we have
filling
most of
them in
week by week, day by day. We fill them in. Also, very excited to share with you that we will be announcing the release date of the Did I Ever Tell You the One About podcast, which is coming up in January. Timeless Podcast Company and the Timeless Music Company. It's Timeless. It's called the Timeless Music and Recorded Content Company. Going to be putting out some amazing artists on that. So a lot of good things coming in 2021, including more of the Serch Says podcast. We are committed to making timeless podcasts that are evergreen, that you will hopefully learn to enjoy and listen to forever and ever and ever and ever. Thank you to all the hardcores that are here every week. And listen, this has been a tough year. I've been saying it to everyone that I'm close with. It's been a tough year. Take this time to just find things to be thankful for. I believe this Thanksgiving has more meaning than most have in the past. I've experienced a great deal of death this year to COVID, more so than most. When I tell people that I've lost, 92 friends, they look at me like, how's that even possible? But
I don't even have 92 friends.
It was one of those, it's been one of those years, but I find that because of my beautiful children and my family and really all of the things that I am blessed to have in my life, my health, I find things to be thankful for. And I'm truly thankful for all of you who keep me on my toes and who continue to want to hear and see more of the things that we have going on. And just take a moment today to just thank the people in your life for being there in your life, for giving you love, for giving you support, for giving you comfort, and enjoy your family and friends, and just enjoy the day as most as you can. Nate, I love you. Pumice, I love you. And in the words of my wife, Chantel, please remember throughout your day to say what you mean what you say. If someone turns around and says, yo, have a happy Thanksgiving, turn around and say, no, you have a better one. Whatever you want from me, I want twice as much for you. And then if you don't have an agenda in this life, someone give you one and it might not be nice. So like Gucci Mane says, always have a plan. All right. We will see you next Wednesday. A lot of great guests coming up as we close out 2020. Stay focused, y'all. We love you. Good choice, by the way.
Cribs and the cars, and they forget about the struggle. I'm gonna tell y'all a little story. Just sit down. Relax. Turn the lights down. We're gonna talk about that. Alright? Understand, I'm gonna take you back. I'm on my 7:10 a.m. from Queens. All aboard. Take my usual spot right under the emergency brake cord. How ironic, cause all I wanna do is make my world stop and trade Manhattan trains for platinum chains and my job for hip hop. My eyes drop, I see the A&R and he's lounging in his office. White desk, ice chest, leather seats was like the softest. Caught me at an open mic night, also known as Keep On Hoping Night. That your lyrics get him open night and you become a star like overnight. He told me he could see it, sold me on this life of rapping. But I didn't roll with a platinum click and it wasn't gonna happen. We pounded hard and I took his card and headed for the door. I thought to myself, damn, nobody ever shot an A&R before? His assistant with the low dress said, leave your map and address. So I did, plus a little extra scribbled on the desk. It said, give me a shot.